Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcomed. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
The Saratoga City Council meeting, an inside look at the decisions that affect you and our community.
Good evening. This is City Council, Tuesday, August 7th, 2018. There is one public hearing tonight, and that is starting at 6:55, and that is the 2019-2024 capital budget and program. Per Chapter 3.1 of the City Charter, the mayor shall present to the council and the public the proposed 6-year capital program highlighting capital requests for the upcoming fiscal year to be included in the city's annual capital budget. Public hearings for the 2019-2024 proposed capital program are scheduled for tonight and August 21st. A presentation will be held at the City Council meeting on August 21st, and the council will have an opportunity to vote to approve the capital program as proposed by the Capital Program Committee. The proposed capital program is available for your review on our website, and a printed copy is on file in the Accounts Department. If you would like to comment on this, please step forward to the mic and present with your name and your municipality. Thank you. Okay, I see we have nobody that wants to talk about the capital budget and program. So we're going to move on to we're going to keep that open, and we'll have one more public hearing on August 21st. Roll call, please.
Present. Present. Here.
Here. Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is a public comment period. I would ask that you try to keep your comments brief, 2 minutes maximum. The public comment period will be for 15 minutes. Please be respectful to the speakers while they are addressing the council, and please address the council as a whole. Anyone who wishes to address the council upon any issue may now come forward, state your name and address, and provide your comments.
Good evening. My name is Don Colosimo. I live at 55 Waterview Drive. Waterview is off Crescent Ave, just south of Union. Last Friday night, we had a dinner party, and one of our guests had a medical emergency. We dialed 911, and the EMTs were dispatched. It took them over 10 minutes to arrive. The fire truck arrived about 5 minutes later. After the EMTs arrived, they had placed the AED paddles on my friend, and I could see the display, it was flat. But that didn't stop them. They worked very hard on him. Transported him to Saratoga Hospital, where he died at 7:07. I've sort of wondered now that instead of having a 10-minute ride before they placed the paddles on him, if they were dispatched not from our main fire station, but from our fabulous East Side public safety facility. And that was only a 5-minute ride from my house. I might have saved my friend. But wait, we don't have a public safety East Side facility. It's not even on your budget to have one. We don't count on the East Side. There was plans to have a facility there. We had a plan to buy property. We had a bid rigged to buy the property, but nothing came of that. So I'm just wondering what happens. We're out of luck. We don't count on the East Side, do we?
Thank you, and my condolences, sir. Anyone else?
Good evening, council members. My name is Sam Brewer. I've oftentimes appeared before the council. I'm a city resident and I live on Lake Avenue. There were two issues that I wanted to bring before the council this evening. One was an issue that I saw in the newspaper regarding somebody driving a truck and yelling racial epithets at African Americans in some part of the city. I saw that Commissioner Martin had held an event to talk about that issue, and I did some thinking about that. And I would encourage the city to enforce, verbal harassment laws and ticket people who are, inciting things that potentially could become violent, while at the same time protecting the content of whatever they're saying. They can be issued a ticket, they can go to court, and they can explain to the judge why they said what they said, and face it with a moderate fine. That would be my suggestion. And then the second issue that I wanted to bring before the council this evening was one that's a repeat issue. I think I've stood before the council 3 or 4 times and mentioned the same thing, but I was out on the 31st of July teaching my young daughter to drive. She's 16 years old. And I put this in front of you. A woman at the corner of Gilbert Ave and Union was killed in a fatal accident, and we happened to come across that accident and had to detour around it. I went later and looked up what happened, and apparently a woman by the name of Diane Rosenthal was turning left off of Gilbert onto Union and was T-boned by another car and was killed. She was a city resident, and she was, I think, 76 years old. But I had initially spoke on I had sent a letter to the city council about 2 years ago, October 12, 2016, and I provided a copy of that letter to the new council, and I'd like to read that out loud. A few months ago, I stood before the council and called attention to the many dangerous and poorly designed traffic intersections in the city. Having reviewed the city's spending priorities, I wanted to take the time to again highlight the need to focus on traffic flow design as a public safety matter. I have enclosed page 21 from the book, 101 Things I've Learned in Engineering School by John Caprinas and Matthew Frederick, illustrating the superior nature of the traffic circle. At the eastern edge of the city, the intersections of Gilbert, Lake Weeble, and Weeble, there have been many serious and fatal accidents over the years, and it's my understanding that the Stewart's store at that corner is to be rebuilt in the next few years. Giving the city an opportunity to improve the intersection and remedy the safety problem while minimizing resource use. I hope you will act on my concerns and the information as if time were of the essence.
Thank you.
Right. So I would hope
your
that the
time's
city,
up, sir.
I know. I would hope that the city would now.
You went over your time. You're finished. Please don't make me go any farther. If I will, I'm going to ask you to be removed by the police.
I would hope that the city considers what I said this evening.
Please respect us. Thank you. I gave you some extra time, sir, so don't give me anything.
I would hope you would respect me. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good evening, City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity for me to provide comments this evening. My name is Kevin Egan. I'm Director of Government Affairs for Charter Communications in Eastern New York. Over the last 18 months, I and others from my company have met with representatives from the city on several occasions to discuss broadband initiatives as well as the city's effort on a citywide fiber system. This evening, the City Council will discuss and may vote to authorize the mayor to sign a development agreement with Sci-Fi Networks regarding a citywide fiber system. I respectfully urge the City Council to exercise caution and due diligence as it considers whether to move forward with this significant new legal and financial arrangement. The agreement made available for public view 4 days ago between Sci-Fi Networks and the city is structured with terms that are very favorable to Sci-Fi placing significant, if not all, risk on the city of Saratoga Springs. This is especially troubling as Sci-Fi Networks has yet to demonstrate that it can build a network in any community in a manner that is outlined for the city. In addition, there are numerous aspects of the development agreement that are suspect and should be seriously questioned during any objective legal review. I'd like to just highlight a few of those items this evening. The contract is heavily weighted in favor of Sci-Fi. It grants Sci-Fi Networks the ability to construct and operate during an initial unprecedented 30-year term of the agreement with no contingent costs, at which time Sci-Fi will have a unilateral right to renew for an additional 30 years. The agreement requires dedicated city resource and provides Sci-Fi Networks with unrestricted access to city assets. It also requires exclusivity during the first year of the agreement and exclusive right-of-way to the city's public sewer system throughout the entire agreement. The agreement also outlines preferential treatment for Sci-Fi Networks to obtain permit approvals during the network construction.
Thank you.
That's 5 minutes.
It's 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You can hand that, if you have something, we can hand it in.
Yeah, if you want to hand that in, you could hand it in and we could...
I certainly will. Great, thank you. I have some notes on it, so let me clean it up real quick.
Sure. Anyone else? Okay. Nothing. All right, then we'll close this public comment.
Mayor,
Okay,
do you wanna go
we'd
first?
like to comment back? That's sure. Go ahead,
If
Commissioner.
you don't mind,
Yeah?
I'd like to address two of
Sure.
the points that were made, and I'm sorry, I missed the first gentleman's name who came up, but thank you. He referenced the accident from last Friday evening, I believe, Ms. Rosenthal. And I'd like to address that. First of all, my condolences, and it was terrible to lose a citizen that way. I agree that our city would be better served if we had a fire EMS station on the east side. We are in some discussions right now, looking for some property in that regard, but I would not want there to be a misapprehension that the death was a result of failure to get to that scene in a timely fashion. Actually, our EMS ambulance arrived at that scene at approximately 4 minutes, 30 seconds after we received the call in our dispatch concerning that. Our EMS paramedics worked heroically at that scene. I've reviewed the reports from that, and I can say that they did everything possible to help save Ms. Rosenthal, and it was just unfortunate. There was some significant spinal and brain trauma, and she did pass away at Albany Medical Center later that evening. I'm very sorry for that, but again, I don't want to draw a line between the response time in this one particular instance and the result, because I think the response time in this instance actually was within standards. It was 4.5 minutes from receiving that EMS, that dispatch call. The second thing I'd like to address is Mr. Brewer had talked about the incidents that led to a community forum in the Dothan area neighborhood, and if the council will allow me, I would like to add an item on the end of my agenda just to report about that community forum.
We'll deal with that.
And that's it for me.
So I also wanted to respond. I'm very sorry to hear about the loss of your friend, but I did want to let you know that while it appears that there isn't funding in this year's coming up capital budget for fire EMS, there is actually a placeholder for funding for fire EMS in the overall capital plan. So when we can find the right land and we are able to move forward on the purchase of the right land, and I have left that as to the Department of Public Safety, but have also also been known to partner with the Department of Public Safety to assist in trying to find this land. We are ready to go with the proper funding. And so I did want to let you know that. We have a 6-year-long capital program, and while we don't have the land right now, it is in the program, which allows us to potentially amend the capital budget when we find the right parcel for a East Side Fire EMS.
I'd also like to comment on that Commissioner Martin has been actively looking for land for the EMS station. We have worked together looking at different parcels, so there's not a lot of land out there. So we're just trying to look at different ways to have this happen, but we are actively looking at that since we came into office. So it's not like we're not working on it, it's just a difficult situation, but hopefully we can, find a piece of land here in the short window.
Relating to like traffic circles, I know when Commissioner Mathieson was here, it might have gone back 2 years ago, where Gilbert Road and the Union Avenue extension goes, that was like a perfect area for having a traffic circle because it's so wide. But and you'll have to go back to the minutes or whatever. My memory goes, especially during track season. But that is a state highway or road, and I think I don't know if the state was just looking into it at that point in time or said no, but that area is obviously perfect for a circle, but it's kind of out of our jurisdiction because it's
we have met with the state, and we've discussed these items, but unfortunately they don't even hit the radar on dangerous intersections for the state.
Right.
So although we know they're dangerous, we have to figure that out on our end.
Right, and to give two examples, and I go on the former commissioner, he had brought up the two primary areas. Was one by the chicken place there, and somebody just died there recently, and was at the intersection of Gilbert and 9 Union Avenue Extension, were his top two areas, and there's been deaths there in the last month and a half or so.
Right. Anything else? Okay, we'll close the public comment period, and we'll move on to our presentation. We have one presentation, the Charter Review Commission, and Deputy Commissioner Mike Sharp, who is the Vice Chairman on the Charter Review Commission, will provide an update tonight. Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Since the last City Council meeting, there have been 3 Charter Review Commission meetings. There was a workshop on July 19th and 2 regular meetings on July 25th and 31st. We continue to refine the proposed charter, making changes we believe will increase efficiencies across City Hall and result in an improved experience when residents interact with the various departments. The City Attorney has outlined many of these changes previously, so I'll just touch on a few items that have gotten the most discussion over the past few weeks. I would note that none of these revisions are final, as the Commission intends to formally vote a little later in the process. So during the July 19th workshop, Commissioner Frank proposed expanding the City Council to 7 members, with the 2 new officials being council members at large, with an equal vote at the table, but no departmental duties. So this change will potentially address the concerns raised by some about the difficulties in running for office under the current system. Since that proposal, there's been some debate about how this will work in practice, and if the county supervisors would be appropriate in these roles. No consensus has been reached, and unlike some of the other topics where the Commission can draw on our own experience or the experience of former officials or city employees, this is a bit of uncharted territory. So for that reason, there's a contract on the Mayor's agenda tonight for a polling company that will get input from city residents on the topic. Another topic with no consensus yet is civil service. The city has a few different options on how we might employ civil service going forward. So at the next Commission meeting, we'll get additional details on these options from outside legal counsel and some relevant city personnel. Areas where there is some consensus includes adding language to deputies that they possess sufficient educational qualifications or work experience related to his or her department. The legal department and human resources, which had been discussed becoming one legal and administrative unit, have been separated to address some concerns about potential legal and confidentiality issues that could arise. Oversight of the capital program process was to potentially be moved from the Mayor's office to finance. That has been moved back to the Mayor's office, but I would note that the Capital Committee, which is the group that ultimately votes on the capital program and the budget, remains a diverse group of employees across the various departments. Parks and the Recreation Department have been moved to Public Works to better align the rec programming with the department that actually oversees their facilities, though open space and preservation remain with the Mayor given their strong ties to planning. So regarding the document itself, the section order is largely the same, though changes have been made to the layout within each section. This should make the individual sections more uniform and easier for users to understand. Some of the changes include moving some of the process sections, like the nuts and bolts of the budget, to a separate section later in the document. And now, generally speaking, about functions rather than specific employees. This gives the city increased flexibility as responsibilities and priorities shift over time. So those are just some of the changes. As I said earlier, nothing's finalized just yet. The first draft of the proposed charter is now available on the city website. It's on the main page. It's also on the Charter Commission page. And we look forward to hearing from residents with their questions, concerns, comments. Our next regular meeting is at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 14th. And there's a public forum at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, August 21st, actually right before the city council meeting. As always, residents can send an email to the commission through the city website 24/7. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pennell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pennell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pennell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
On to our consent agenda. I move that the City Council accept the consent agenda as included on the agenda. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes. On to the Mayor's Department. Our first item is an announcement for the Recreation Department for programs and leagues, and I'd ask John Hurleman to please tell us about that.
Good evening. Thank you. So a couple of things. Later on this agenda, we do have a couple of items for resurfacing the floor. As a result, the rec center will have limited areas that will be open, but the registration table, the front desk will be open throughout the entire process of resurfacing our floors. That'll begin August 20th and end around September 16th. So the building will remain open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for program registrations and general questions and reserving field space and other activities. We also have our pickleball league, tiny t-ball, volleyball, field hockey, all available to register for now. And that's for our fall programs, which you could find on SaratogaRec.com. And also fall soccer registration. The early bird fee ends August 13th, which is a Monday. So if you are looking to volunteer or register for the program, get in there by Monday. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, John. Our next item up is discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign a contract with Saratoga Springs Public Library. And I'll have you say a few words on that, John.
Yes, so we're requesting authorization for the mayor to sign the Saratoga Springs Public Library Public Presenter Contract. The Rec Department will provide Learn to Skateboarding program on September 28th, October 12th, and October 26th at the East Side Rec. The fee will be $10 per skater. The participants must have an active rec card application or an application on file and bring their own equipment. And then we will have additional dates, rain dates, available for participants to choose. So this is similar to what we did over the summertime with our pilot program with them.
Great, thank you. I move that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign a contract with the Saratoga Springs Public Library. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes. Before I go to my next item, I will go to the Commissioner of Accounts, John Frank, for the award of bid.
Thank you, Mayor. So the item number 5 is award of bid resurfacing gymnasium hardwood floors to Fourth Sport Floors, Inc. Upon the recommendation of the Mayor's office, I move to award the bid for resurfacing gymnasium hardwood floors to the Fourth Floor Sports, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $41,615. Funding is in line H315 17114/54720/1069. It's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes. Again, before I go to my next item, I will turn it over to Commissioner Madigan's agenda for a budget transfer.
Thank you, Mayor. This is my item number 6, discussion and vote, budget transfer contingency. Lines 1 through 5 represent a transfer from contingency along with several building and planning lines and the public safety sick leave line for the UDO contract, which will be discussed during the mayor's agenda. The balance in contingency prior to this transfer is $122,664.96, and it will be $104,174.46 following the approval. Lines 6 through 7 are a transfer to cover city center building equipment rental expenses. The balance in city center contingency prior to this transfer is $4,800, and it will be $4,750 following the approval. So I request council's approval of the budget transfers that are in the contingency as previously distributed with the agenda. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to point out that the total for this second UDO that the City Council will be moving forward on under the mayor's agenda totals $100,000. There will still be some grant funds, about $48,500 approximately, that will go toward this UDO. We can have further discussion on that under the mayor's agenda, but since I didn't have detailed line items, I thought it was best for the council and public to know exactly how much this contract will, approximately how much this contract will cost. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes. I am going to go back.
6.
Okay. I'm going to what?
My award bid for the
He has to award.
I didn't go, I missed one. I didn't go back to, I have to go back to 4th sports floors. You awarded that bid?
I awarded that
Okay, so
bid.
let's go back to the motion, correct, Lisa? Yeah. Okay. Are you with me, John?
You could do that, or I could also, at this point, do the awarded bid for the other ones, so then you can just do the two. You won't have to come back and forth.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
It's unusual to have 2 in a row like this, so it's the first time I've had it in a long time. Number 6 on my agenda, Mayor, is award of bid, Unified Development Ordinance Zoning Update to Camaros Limited. Upon the recommendation of the Mayor's Office, I move to award the bid for the Unified Development Ordinance Zoning Update to Camaros Limited for the amount not to exceed $154,040. Funding is in line A3618684/54786. It's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Now I'm going back to number 3, discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign contract with 4th Sports Floors, Inc. I move that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign a contract with 4th Sports Floors, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $41,615. The budget line is H3517114-54720-1069. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes. On to number 4, discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign contracts with Camaros LTD for Unified Development Ordinance UDO to complete zoning update. I move that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign a contract with Camaros LTD in the amount not to exceed $154,040. The budget line is A3618684544786. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a few things I'd like to say. So this is a unified development ordinance. This is our second one. The first one we terminated at the beginning of 2018. We were working with another company. The planning department has indicated that our overall zoning needs to be looked at, and it does. We know that we have some issues with our zoning. We know that we have issues with the way our zoning is filed with the state of New York. But in particular, I want to point out that we've had some outstanding issues with our comprehensive plan, which is one of the reasons I'm going to be supportive of doing this Unified Development Ordinance. This City Council passed the comprehensive plan 3 years ago, back in 2015, and there were some changes made to the map that the council agreed upon and voted on. What has not been done in these 3 years is bringing our zoning up to date with our comprehensive plan. So I am, I guess, stating for the record that, my vote is really contingent on looking at these map changes and ensuring that they get done as a priority as we move forward with this Unified Development Ordinance, because it has been a long time. It's not fair to these parcels, these owners of these parcels where these map changes have been made, and yet our zoning has not been brought up to date yet. So I just wanted to point that out, that I'm hoping that will happen as a priority as we move forward with the UDO. I'll leave it to the mayor to outline what the entire rest of the UDO and the planning department UDO process will be going forward.
Thank you. Anything else?
I just want to say that I think that this is a very important project, and I'm not going to repeat what Commissioner Madigan said. I share many of your thoughts, and obviously I share in the importance of this, as I agreed to transfer a significant portion of money from my budget to make this happen.
And I'd like to thank you for that, Commissioner Martin, because this probably would not have happened without your financial support.
Right, and there was financial support from many departments, but, I have to say that yours was the largest, and we appreciate that. I do want to make a note that we will be looking at the mapping first, so that is a priority, and we talked to the company that won the RFP, and they are on board with looking at that first, so that will happen. Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The matter passes. Number 5, discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign a grant application for the 2018 Transportation Alternatives Program, better known as TAP, and Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Improvement, CMAQ program. The mayor's department is requesting approval to apply for New York State Department of Transportation 2018 Transportation Alternatives Program and Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Improvement Program grant. The proposed Missing Links project will complete roughly 3.3 miles of sidewalks and related improvements, provide a strong, safe pedestrian connection throughout the city's inner neighborhoods, and connect missing gaps in the city current pedestrian network. The grant will cover 80% of the project's cost, roughly $3.25 million, with the city being responsible for $812,724 through 2019 capital budget if the grant application is successful. The funding for this project will help the community meet a key milestone by eliminating breaks in sidewalk systems along key routes identified in the city's adopted Complete Streets plan. The creation of a safer way to travel throughout the city neighborhoods will increase pedestrian traffic activity and further boost the city's economic vitality. City residents as well as tourists will be able to safely navigate through our inner business district adjacent to neighborhoods, parks, schools, public facilities, nature corridors, and more. The project will also assist the city to reach ADA compliance goals. I move that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign a grant application for 2018 Transportation Alternatives Program and Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Improvement Program. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Wait, I think I do have a discussion.
Sure.
I wasn't at the agenda meeting yesterday. Did you mention, is this a grant we're going for? How much? And is there a match on behalf of the city?
This is, it's a grant that will cover 80%. It's roughly 3.25 million, and it's a match of...
Thank you. And so that's going to be in the capital program. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Yep. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The matter passes. Number 6, discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign a contract with Public Opinion Strategies for Charter Review. This is a contract for polling services, which Mike Sharp referred to in his charter review update. The contract uses the standard city template, except that the insurance amounts required for professional services are adjusted to $2 million in excess instead of $5 million, and $1 million for errors and omissions instead of $2 million. I move that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign a contract with public opinion strategies, including the insurance limit as stated in the contract, which is attached to the agenda. This is a motion. The contract is not to exceed $7,500, and the money will be in budget line A361806454720. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes. On number 7, discussion and vote, Saratoga Lake Protection and Improvement District, take the pledge. I move that the City Council support the Take the Pledge efforts of the Saratoga Lake Protection and Improvement District and encourage property owners within the Saratoga Lake watershed to commit to a few sustainable actions and demonstrate that small efforts on their part have a significant action on the biodiversity and health of the lake. Please take the pledge as attached to the agenda. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I would, the work of the Saratoga Lake Improvement District is very important to the health of our lake. We have had outbreaks within the lake, and I think it's important that we encourage as many of our residents and the residents of the adjoining towns that also surround the lake to take this pledge and to control runoff and other problems within the lake.
Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes. Number 8 is I'd like to set a public hearing for NPR Tate Lane, Allen Drive proposed map amendment, change from warehouse to Transect 4. That'll be on September 4th. Yeah, 5 minutes is fine. Okay, you said September 4th? Yes. Thank you. My next item is appointment Board of Plumbing Examiners. I am reestablishing the Examining Board of Plumbers pursuant to Chapter 171 of the City Code. The board is responsible for certifying individuals engaged in the business of plumbing in the city. It will be comprised of 5 members, including the one employee from the building department, and that will be Patrick Hogan, 1 person from the city engineering department, that will be Matt Zeno, and 2 master plumbers and 1 journeyman. One of my master plumbers is William Benton, master plumber, is a lifetime resident of Saratoga Springs. He is a licensed plumber and has over 30 years experience in the plumbing and heating industry. In 1998, he founded the Saratoga Springs-based company B&B Plumbing and Heating. B&B handles projects ranging from affordable housing to single-family homes to multi-story condos, apartment buildings. His term will end 8/6/21. I do believe that Bill is here in that. You want to come up and say a few words, Bill? Okay. Okay. My next master plumber is Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey served 4 years in the Marines and began working at Boyce & Drake in 2000. He has owned Boyce & Drake for the past 13 years. He holds a master plumbing license in the city of Saratoga Springs. His term will end 8/6/20. Kevin Potter is a journeyman. Kevin Potter graduated from Saratoga Springs High School, has been a lifelong resident of the area. Mr. Potter started in the plumbing business in 1985 and has successfully completed many projects throughout the city for on-call plumbing and heating. Mr. Potter is proud to serve the city of Saratoga Springs and was instrumental in the donation and labor material for Habitat for Humanity House in Saratoga Springs, as well as overseeing the plumbing and heating for Rebuilding Together project on Grand Avenue. His term will end 8/6/19. For the past 10 to 15 years, the city has been without this board, although it is called for in our city code. In order to do the work in Saratoga Springs, a plumber must be licensed elsewhere. With the reestablishment of this board, I would ask them to convene together with our city attorney to reestablish the examination procedures for plumbers and undertake review of the city code and recommend possible updates and revisions. I have also been in discussion with the Accounts Department Deputy Mayor Mary Masterson so we can prepare for the collection of license fees. I am pleased to be reinstating the board, a board that the city is required to have, and I'm sure will prove valuable in our building and development in the community. And I just want to say that, this is something that I know when I came in as deputy, they started asking me about this, and so I'm really pleased that we're doing this, and I know that, Bill Benton is here, and he's one that's, I think, on board with this, and we're going to get together, and we're going to get this up and running. So it's something that the city is required to do, so it's been 10 to 15 years, so we look forward to that.
Yeah. Mayor, I want to commend you on this. I mean, my department deals with plumbers all the time, in street openings and supplies and, laterals and stuff like that. And it's nice to know that now at least we'll have a list of licensed plumbers in the city who have good working knowledge of infrastructure, and not just any layman coming in and doing work, because really up until now, maybe 10, 15 years ago we did, but up until now we had no way of knowing if, they could be saying, well, I'm licensed in Albany or wherever, but now they have to be licensed in the city to work in the city, and that makes a lot of sense to me, and it makes a lot of sense to the public too. And it's reassurance that you're going to get people with good working experience to be working on infrastructure in the city. So I commend you for getting it done.
Anything else? Okay, on to my next item is appointment for the Open Space Advisory Committee. Tonight, I'm reappointing Dave Miller to the Open Space Advisory Committee. Dave is a licensed landscape architect in New York State since 1995 with over 28 years' experience in all phases of site analysis, master planning, designing, engineering, construction document preparation, and project implementation. He is a senior associate principal of the LA Group. I would like to thank Dave for volunteering his time for the city. And is Dave here? Okay. My last item is an announcement that I would like to remind the city, remind the council and the public that our next meeting will be August 21, 2018, which will begin at 6 p.m. This meeting will include the Charter Review Public Forum, which will begin after the Pledge of Allegiance. Public hearings scheduled for this meeting will begin before 6 p.m. as appropriate. And that concludes my agenda.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pennell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pennell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pennell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
On to accounts.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item is an appointment. Brooke Jobin as Commissioner of Deeds. I am appointing Brooke Jobin as Commissioner of Deeds effective immediately. My second item is award of bid, extension of bid, HVAC maintenance and other services to BPI Mechanical Services, Inc. for the Department of Public Safety. Upon the recommendation of the Department of Public Safety, I move the extended bid for HVAC maintenance and other services to BPI Mechanical Services, Inc. for the Department of Public Safety for an additional year under the same terms, conditions, and prices. Funding is in lines A3143014/54720, A3143124/5720, A3143314/54610, and A3143414/54610. It's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you, Mayor. The third item is award of bid integrated pest management services program to Absolute Pest Control, Inc. Upon the recommendation of the Department of Public Works, I move to award the bid for integrated pest management services to Absolute Pest Control, Inc. for an amount not to exceed $8,532. Funding is in lines A3031624/54720, A3143124/54720, A3537114/54720, A3537224/54720, A3567194/54720/3000, A3567114/54720, or 7174/54/720/3000, and A303165/54610, and A3143414/54720. It's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you, Mayor. The fourth item is award of bid professional services, DPW Dispatch Building, to the Architectural Collaborative PLLC. Upon the recommendation of the Department of Public Works, I move to award the bid for professional services, DPW Dispatch Building, to the Architectural Collaborative PLLC, in amount not to exceed $63,000. Funding is in line A3031964/54779.
Is there a motion? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
5 and 6 I've already done earlier in the meeting, so I'm up to item number 7, discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign a contract with the Architectural Collaborative and its consultants for RFP 2018-22 DPW Dispatch Building Professional Services. I move to authorize the mayor to sign a contract with the Architectural Collaborative and its consultants for the DPW Dispatch Building Professional Services as attached to the agenda. It's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you. The last item I have on the agenda this evening is discussion and vote mayor to provide extension of time to the planning board for advisory opinion of the Liberty petition. The city's zoning ordinance states the planning board has 60 days to render an advisory opinion to the city council, but may be extended upon mutual consent of the city council and the planning board. The planning board has requested additional time to review and provide an advisory opinion of the Liberty petition. Therefore, I move to extend the time period for review and advisory opinion by the planning board of the Liberty petition until September 30th, 2018. That's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to offer up an amendment a friendly amendment to Commissioner Frank's motion. And the amendment I'd like to ask for in his motion is to allow the planning board an extension until Monday, September 10th, because they meet again on, I believe, September 6th. This gives them time to look at this issue for a third time, and then gives the planning department time to write their advisory opinion to the city council, which would be on Monday the 10th. The second aspect of the amendment I'd like to ask for is to allow the city to act as lead secret agent. I can go through my points now, or so that you know why I'm asking for this amendment to the motion, or we can accept the amendment to the motion and I can then go through this as a discussion. What works for the council? Should I just go through my points now?
Okay. Yeah, I stipulate, I'm fine with the amended language that that was been proposed. But obviously, I don't know if you want to vote on it.
Then we need a new second?
Well, I'm not so sure about the lead agent, so I have concerns about that. So I think I would be voting to have the planning board be lead agent. So, I don't know.
That's fine, but he still, he said he's willing to amend the motion.
Yeah, I'm willing to amend the motion.
So we would need another second, and then we can discuss that.
Perfect.
I'm just amending my motion to stipulate to the language that's been brought forth a few minutes ago from Commissioner Manigan.
So then do we need another second?
Yeah, well, I think we have a second.
Is there a second?
And I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well, first, I think we want to...
I'm sorry, this is to amend.
Stipulate the language.
To amend.
Okay, just
Yes.
stipulate the language.
We're
Okay,
good.
fine, all right. Then I agree.
Right.
I didn't say it.
So now,
All right.
before we have the vote on number 8, which we have not had because we've just amended it.
All right, so let me go through my points. All right, so we've just amended the motion to allow the planning board an extension until Monday, September 10th, and I would like to move to act as the city act as the lead secret agent. So I went over a few things. The planning board doesn't meet in August, and they will have had over 60 days on this time-sensitive project. Actually, if they do take this up and complete it on September 6th or 7th, which we are asking them to do, they will have had close to 90 days with this extension. I realize that things do take time, especially in government, but this delay has resulted in the project missing the more lucrative 9% state tax credits toward this affordable housing. This is an affordable housing project. We all received a letter yesterday from the applicant vis-a-vis their attorney confirming this. The County Planning Board has issued their unanimous approval, their opinion. We received that letter. I did watch the Planning Board meeting, and I believe that the Planning Board's concerns may have gone beyond their initial statute and been questioning issues that would have been addressed later in the process. What we asked for was an advisory opinion to amend the comp plan and then amend the zoning as such. So I think that they went beyond that scope, and I encouraged everyone to watch the, I believe it was the July 19th Planning Board meeting. The City Council will meet 3 times, including tonight, before the next Planning Board meeting, which I believe is problematic with a city as busy as ours. So we do need to address the issue of the Planning Board taking off the entire month of August going forward. I realize these people are volunteers, but we're a busy city. So, the City Council meeting 3-4 times before the Planning Board meets again to get us back what is an advisory opinion seems to be too time consuming. Now, declaring ourselves as wanting to act as secret lead agent will kick off the 30-day window for interested parties to notify us of their interest, which would either be the Planning Board, DEC, there may be some other interested parties. This formally will kick off the process this evening, one that would be done no matter who makes the determination. My goal is to go through the secret process during the September 18th City Council meeting, which provides the interested parties again, more than 30 days to notify us of their interest, and also for the project sponsor to provide all the relevant and necessary information on the SECRA to the Planning Department and to the City Council. I'm supportive of the goal of increased affordable housing, which is what this project will provide for us. This plan is potentially a comp plan zoning change, which I don't undertake lightly, but I have done before. There is precedence for this. I've done this in 2013. I want to ensure that the city is working towards expanding our affordable housing stock while at the same time limiting potential unintended consequences when possible when opening the comp plan. And I believe there is a good way forward for that, and I feel comfortable. I will bring the SECRA. If the mayor seems uncomfortable, I'll let her speak for herself. She would like the planning board to do this. I've been through SECRA process before. This is not just project specific. This is about policy. This is about a zoning change, map change, and it is about trying to bring more affordable housing to that request. And that's why I think we should be the lead agent. Thank you.
Anybody?
If you want to go next, and then I'll...
Sure. I just want to say that I am in support of the project. I mean, I'm all for affordable projects. There's sophisticated considerations, though, I think, including the amendment to our comp plan. Therefore, I believe that the planning board would be the most appropriate lead agent given the breadth of their experience and their knowledge in the site-based development activities. And I do, I would support voting for the merit to provide the extension. I'm for that. The friendly amendment for the September 10th deadline, I'd be for that. But I do not think I could vote in my heart of hearts for this city council to be the secret lead agent in this. I'm going to support the motion as amended, but a couple of things. First of all, it's unfortunate that the planning board is not meeting in August, but I can tell you, and as Commissioner Madigan pointed out, they do work hard, and in fact, this year, there's been many months where they've actually had extra meetings because of just the volume of work that they have. And it was just, I think it was an unfortunate coincidence that they happened to take off during the month that we were looking for a response for their opinion on this very important issue. And it is a very important issue. And I have to tell you, I'm a little bit torn as to who would be the best lead agency for the SECRA on this. To one extent, I would like to defer to the planning board. They have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge in this area. But on the other hand,
This is a major decision that the city is going to be making, and I feel that we, as the elected officials of the city, will be held responsible for whichever decision is made with respect to a redrawing of the comprehensive plan map, a rezoning of a significant parcel of property. So I am comfortable with saying that the City Council should be secret lead agency on this particular matter.
Thank you.
I think the project is certainly a worthy project. Everybody I talk to say we just don't have enough affordable housing in the city, and I at this point I don't think we can have enough. I know we went through the IZOD, the inclusionary zoning thing, and I know that those people would welcome this project with, I believe, with open arms. Again, it's something I think the City Council and prior City Councils have looked at and always been an issue. As far as the lead agency and the seeker, I don't particularly have a problem with that. That's something that we've been through, and I think we pretty much have, a lot of working knowledge of what goes on in the city and what needs to happen in the city. Again, I know the planning board is busy. Obviously, there's a lot of building going on in the city, but this project I think is important at least it's important to me, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I think it's important to the City Council, everybody here, because everybody's really supported it for the most part. And I know when I talked to the representatives a couple months ago, I thought it was great. I thought the area was great for it. It just made a whole lot of sense, and kudos to the casino for putting this project forward. And I'm going to support the amendment as presented.
Yeah, I just want to, and I appreciate, again, I got a call or email from Commissioner Martin a while back on this, and all the years I've done this, I've never been asked for an extension before. So that's kind of first what caught me off guard of, usually this is done within a meeting or two. And I did look at the meeting, and a lot of this really was kind of getting off what they were supposed to do. It was more into IZOD, and we should, and I just felt they got off topic on this, which was concerning to me. Also, the county, did give their okay on this a while back. This wasn't a couple days ago. This was a while back, and they brought up two concerns, and both concerns, when they went back to the petitioner, they were satisfied with what their responses were. So, obviously, the county doesn't look as closely as our city planning board would on this, and they tend to say yes most of the time, but not all the time. They tend to also, they have said no over the years. Related to seeker, the city council, I've probably done it 20 times in the last, this is not an unusual thing. As a matter of fact, we demanded when they were building when the casino was possibly coming in, demanded to the state that we be the lead agents. So, that's the same property area. So we've done that a lot. Maybe this current city council, as a council, hasn't done it because it's a pretty new council. But relating to that, and we still weigh heavily on our staff here on Brad, relating to that. So before I was even in government, I worked on workforce housing because that's all I ever heard about. And then it's the same thing happens. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. And we don't want it. And you get all these pressures from the outside, and it's a lot of politics gets somehow involved. So I think when the group came to me, I was the last one they came to, and I was told very clearly that the other council members were on board on this 100%, and I think everybody's still on board, and I think this just really has to do with the seeker more than anything. But and it is. But I kind of will again defer to Commissioner Martin because it is and I can remember when Commissioner Mathieson was here numerous times. He demanded that the city council would be the lead agent over the planning board, and he sat on the zoning board for years. So I always kind of defer to that experience too. But I don't have a problem with this amendment, and I will vote in a yes on this.
Thank you. I just want to make one more comment about the planning board taking August off. Historically, this has been the case. We have discussed it in our department, and going forward, we will be revisiting that. The planning board is a volunteer board. They come in at 6 p.m. They take their last case at 10:30, and sometimes they're here very late into the evening. So, and there's a lot happening in this, community building-wise. So things do get delayed, but there's only so much we can ask of these volunteers. But coming into next August, this council will be here, and we'll make sure that we will have at least one meeting in August. I think that's critical to keep things moving along. So I'm in agreement with that. Any other discussion?
I want to thank the council, and I do want to point out, Mayor, I understand your concerns, but there are at least 3 people on this city council that have been through numerous seekers. And oftentimes when you're talking about a change, a change to a comp plan, you're absolutely right. There were times where Commissioner Matisse absolutely demanded that the city be the lead agent. And I think for something this important, we've been through it, we will still have the support of planning board staff. I feel very comfortable with the city acting as lead agent on this seeker evaluation. Thank you.
Sure. Anything else?
I'd just like to agree. Before I got into this world of politics, I sat in front of the various land use boards, and I can remember being here 1:30 in the morning on certain times. So that's back in the early 2000s, but they work a long evenings.
They do. They do. Anything else? Great. Let's see, where am I?
We need to vote.
We need a vote. Was there a motion?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Okay, is there a second?
We already had that.
We have that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm going to say no. Any abstentions? And the matter passes.
That was the last item, so that concludes my agenda this evening, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
On to finance.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item on my agenda is a discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign a development agreement with Sci-Fi Networks regarding citywide fiber system. For several years now, I've talked about improving the city's tech infrastructure, specifically expanding the reach, quality, and market for broadband access to all city residents and businesses. From an economic development standpoint, improved connectivity will allow existing businesses capabilities previously thought impossible, while also enticing the business of the future to thrive in Saratoga Springs. For residents, this would provide a more competitive broadband market with exceptionally fast access for all of their online needs. To this end, tonight I am bringing forward a development agreement between the city and Sci-Fi Networks, through which Sci-Fi Networks intends to design, install, and maintain a city-wide fiber optic network that will reach every home and business in Saratoga Springs. The expectation is that the design of the system will begin this year, and that construction will take roughly 2 years to complete, with certain areas coming online or being lit well before then. The agreement is for 30 years, with a potential renewal of an additional 30 years thereafter. Should the agreement be renewed beyond the initial 30 years, the city will receive a 0.5% of Sci-Fi's gross revenue derived from the system, and it will be paid quarterly. Up until substantial completion, meaning when the system is almost fully complete, Sci-Fi Networks will remit $45,000 annually to the city toward a DPW employee that will serve as a point of contact between Sci-Fi and the city. This is excellent news. This helps us onboard potentially a new city engineer and covers the cost of that engineer 50%. In this agreement, the city is waiving all permitting fees up until substantial completion. though after that point, Sci-Fi will go through the same permitting process as other providers in the city's right-of-way. I'd like to thank everyone in DPW, Commissioner Scirocco, the city engineers, the business director, Michael Veach, purchasing, risk and safety, and the city attorney's office. The city attorney, Vince DeLeonardis, worked on this so hard with my deputy, Mike Sharp, who really was all over this, communicating back and forth with Sci-Fi regularly. I cannot thank him enough. This is a big agreement. This is a big project that we're going to move forward on. I look forward to working with Sci-Fi on this project in the near future. Scott Bradshaw is here from Sci-Fi. If you wouldn't mind coming up and saying hello to the council, that would be great. I did my thank yous. There were some things addressed in the beginning of the meeting at public comment. I want to say that we're looking to bring forward a competitive marketplace. I'm excited about the Sci-Fi contract. Again, we've had everybody involved, city attorney, city employees, weigh in on this development agreement. There are other municipalities throughout the country that have either a similar agreement. We've contacted all those municipalities. We've talked to them. We've checked references. They are all as pleased as we are to be moving forward with Sci-Fi. So with that, I will make my motion. I request your authorization for the mayor to sign the development agreement with Sci-Fi Networks. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just have a couple of
Well, I
thoughts.
wanted Scott to also come up because there may be some questions that he can help to address as we got into discussion.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Commissioner. And
just for toll people.
All right, I'll just start. I think it's important. This is an important step forward for the city in order to have this competitive capability. I think it does put us in the vanguard of forward-thinking cities. I will have to tell you, just the lawyer in me has a concern when I see a 30-year contract and when I see that the vendor has a sole option to extend for an additional 30 years. 60-year contracts are unusual, certainly in my experience. However, I note that the exclusivity clause only calls for exclusivity for 1 year, which I think, given the amount of capital expenditure, seems to be reasonable. The gentleman who is here from Charter mentioned something about, though, exclusivity on the sewer lines, which I'm not sure that I read in the contract, and I'd like to be educated a little bit more about that.
No, with respect to the fiber optic cable within the sewer infrastructure, that's on a per case basis. That's not a technology being used throughout the entire city. It's really to alleviate obstacles to which we can deploy the infrastructure at a quicker rate to provide that service to people. So, and that is a technology that's not actually approved. It's a discussion to be had as and when it deems a benefit can be made from it.
So the goal is not to use the sewer system at all?
No.
So there is no exclusivity there. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much removed.
Yes.
It's if we run into something unexpected, Sci-Fi would have to come back, meet with the city, and discuss potential options as a result of if the sewer's impacted.
Correct.
Right?
I think it's at the discretion of Public Works.
Of Public Works.
We kind of left it at that when we discussed it.
And just one thing I'd like to point out, and I'm sure that the Commissioner of Public Works probably noted this, but basically for the entire length of the contract, not just during the 1 year exclusivity period, but for the entire length of the contract, to the extent that the city decides to move a road or otherwise disturb a road at the depth of this cabling, the city is obligated to give 60 days advance notice to Sci-Fi. And that's obviously possible, but it's an obligation that's on the Department of Public Works, and it's an obligation that will continue for up to 60 years. So I just want to make sure that you're prepared to do that.
I think we did discuss that too, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
No, and When you are addressing, say, emergency remediation, whatever that may be, that's a completely different game. Now, we actually then beholden to the city. When we actually construct and have completed the construction of the system, that entire infrastructure is then digitized and provided back to Public Works. You actually have that on record. So it's not actually the case where it's hidden, you don't know where it is. It's at your discretion to go and look at that information before even contacting Sci-Fi and deeming whether you need to call us in the first place.
And I think we'll have a complete mapping of everything that's out there.
That's correct.
So there won't be any issues if, we have to do any work in the road. I think we have to do dig safe anyway, so it's just another agency I think that we have to contact. And again, in an emergency, we got to do what we got to do.
Indeed.
I think we've already agreed that if we have to go in there, then you guys have to repair it, and that's just.
Yes.
I think we've agreed to that.
Yeah, that really is what it is at that point in time. Yeah.
So it does, Commissioner Martin, you raised a good point. They need to get up and running and do their construction, their infrastructure project. But if we've got somebody else who wants to come in here, or we do another RFP and we want, somebody else can go into the road and lay fiber too. I mean, it's been a long, complicated process getting here. I'm not surprised because we did take this very seriously. This is a long contract. We are talking about the cities right away. And for that, though, we expect to open up a competitive marketplace for our residents and businesses.
Indeed, and you're absolutely right to touch on the point of exclusivity. In that 12 months really is a finite time in the grand scheme of things, and that time is really to allow Sci-Fi to complete the boots on the ground, that full detailed engineering, work with Public Works, work with the city, and ensure the design, the way we're going to build that infrastructure conforms to, as you feel, is an appropriate way. And then thereafter, whoever it may be, the current incumbent here or a new provider or competitive provider can wish to come to the city and do exactly the same thing, which is great. But right now, we would like to, with your permission, create that highway, at gigabit speeds to all residents, businesses, municipalities, and everybody, and all of the above from day one, rather than wait, and sweat out that copper infrastructure.
Anything else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for being here this evening, Scott. I'll move on to my next item. Discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign an award transfer request related to the Restore New York and Universal Preservation Hall. In March of this year, the city, on behalf of Proctor's, received $750,000 through the Restore New York program for the redevelopment of the vacant Universal Preservation Hall into a performing arts center. The plans for UPH include an 800-seat theater as well as a community event space and administrative offices. Related to this project, Proctor's was awarded a separate CFA grant from the state. The award transfer request on my agenda joins the two awards, creating a single agreement that will be easier and more efficient for both the state and Proctor's. The city is being asked to sign off on this request, given our role in the Restore New York grant process. I request your authorization for the mayor to sign the award transfer request related to the Restore New York and Universal Preservation Hall. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you. Item number 3, discussion and vote, authorization for the mayor to sign a corrected municipal agreement with EIC regarding Energize New York PACE Finance. In April of 2018, City Council unanimously approved a municipal agreement and membership letter that allowed the Energy Improvement Corporation Energize New York PACE Finance program to operate in the city. The program works to increase clean energy adoption across New York State by covering 100% of the upfront funding for green, commercial, and nonprofit projects through long-term competitively priced financing, with the city collecting the repayments through an added charge on a property tax bill. The municipal agreement I'm bringing forward has a single correction on page 5, which doesn't alter the city's obligation or program goals in any way, but instead brings our agreement in line with the agreements EIC has across the state. Subsequent to the agreement being executed, EIC will begin promoting the availability of PACE financing, and I look forward to working with them on this initiative to increase green projects in our city. I request your authorization for the mayor to sign the corrected municipal agreement with EIC regarding Energize New York PACE Finance. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Item number 4 is a discussion 2018 second quarter financial report. The report is available online, the city's website. It'll be up on the city's website tomorrow, and I'm going to read it right now. So I respectfully submit to the City Council the second quarter financial report of 2018, ending June 30th. Please note that this report is prepared on a cash basis and no adjustments have been made for receivables or payables. In the general fund revenues, property taxes in the general fund are recognized as revenue for the full amount levied at the time of the tax rolls posted to the general ledger, an adjustment made at year end to defer to future years the amount not collected. The Finance Office has reviewed the payments made as of 6/30/18 and 73% or $11.8 million has been collected. Last year at this time, 70% was collected. Property taxes can be paid in 4 installments, with the first installment due March 1st. However, the city offers a discount of 2.25% if the full year is paid on or before March 1st. This accounts for a greater than 50% collection rate after only the second due date has passed. More taxpayers appear to be taking advantage of the discount than in prior years. This is most likely due to the ability to prepay the 2018 taxes in December of 2017, low interest rates being earned on investments, and the option to pay online, and the redesign of the annual bill for 2018, which drew more attention to the discount. Many of the city's larger revenue items are received on a lag, months after they have been earned. VLT aid was received on June 30th and represents the full payment for the year, roughly $2.3 million received in 2018, and it was equal to the amount received in 2017. Sales tax figures include only 4 months since May and June. Collections are not distributed to the city from New York State Taxation and Finance until July and August, respectively. The amount received as of 6/30/18 was $3.8 million, and as of 6/30/17, it was $3.6 million. Hotel occupancy tax is paid to the city from the county on a quarterly basis. The first quarterly payment for 2018 was received in April. The second will arrive in mid-July. At this time, occupancy tax receipts are slightly lower than in 2017 and are expected to meet 2018 adopted budget. County surplus distribution is paid on a quarterly basis, with the first payment being made in April. These amounts are expected to meet the 2018 budget. NYRA admission tax is paid annually after the racing season has closed. The bulk of franchise tax is paid annually in the last quarter of the year. As of 6/30/18, receipts are consistent with 2017. State aid revenue sharing is distributed in 2 installments, September and December, with the largest share being received in December. Disbursements are expected to match the budgeted amount. Ambulance transport fees as of 6/30/18 were $694,447 compared to $565,172 as of 6/30/17. It is not unusual for this revenue to fluctuate since it is fee-based on when services are needed, and reimbursements from insurance companies can vary. At this point, it appears reimbursements will exceed budgeted amounts. Mortgage tax is paid semi-annually in May and November. As of June 30th, mortgage tax receipts are less than in prior year. Mortgage tax will most likely not meet the $1.7 million budgeted for 2018. As of 6/30/18, $622,000 was received compared to $971,000 received as of 6/30/17. Taking into consideration the property tax revenue recognition issues, approximately 50% of revenues were actually received as of 6/30/18. This activity is consistent with 6/30/17. Water and sewer revenues. The first quarter water and sewer bills for 2018 were mailed in April for a May 15th due date, and the second quarter will be mailed in July for an August 15th due date. Capital revenues, the city closed on a general obligation bond on June 20th, 2018 to finance various 2018 capital projects for $6,777,000. Expenses in the general fund, Finance Office, discount on taxes is a final figure. Recreation expenses are typically less than 50% expended when compared to budgeted amounts. This is due to the timing of when program, clinics, and other activities occur. For all other budgets, departments, liability insurance has been paid in full for the year. Additional expenses would be for claims or additional coverage. Also, most departments' total expenses are running at about 46%, which is consistent with prior years. Variances are due to seasonal expenses and grants. Retirement expenses have only been paid for 3 months of 2018. The remaining 9 months will be paid in December. Capital expenses are usually larger in the months where weather is more conducive to construction. In the debt service fund on June 18th, 2018, again, the city refinanced $6,260,000 of outstanding debt originally bonded in 2008, 2009, and 2010. This will produce a budgetary savings of $1.3 million over 20 years. And community development, since the community development block grants are awarded on a different schedule than the city's fiscal year, no budget is established. And I believe that is the second quarterly report overview. If anybody has any specific questions, feel free to be in touch with me. Again, this will be online tomorrow for more detailed reading. Item number 5, discussion and vote, approval of position upgrade for help desk technician to grade 7, step 8, effective September 1, 2018. The help desk technician has recently taken over several city website-related responsibilities previously done by a part-time web content coordinator. And actually, I'd like to be a little more clear on this. This person has pretty much been doing this job all year. It's a position in my department that has not been filled in several months, actually. We are not going to fill that web content coordinator position and instead have moved these duties to our help desk technician. He's been doing them for several months and been doing them well. By taking on these duties, the help desk technician now provides a full-time resource to assist city employees with content management, site monitoring, and optimization of our website. Our current technician, Jim Baker, has been gradually taking over these responsibilities, but he has taken them all over, and he will formally be the point of contact for any questions or concerns you might have about the city's website going forward. I request your authorization for the approval of a position upgrade for help desk technician to grade 7, step 8, effective September 1, 2018. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
So I usually do not like to do position upgrades in the middle of a budget year, but when you've actually eliminated a position and have asked somebody to take on that responsibility, this does make sense. And it makes sense in other cases too for other departments. So I just want to put that on the record. I usually like to plan for these going forward in the following budget year.
Great, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you. Item number 6 is a discussion and vote, budget transfer contingent. Oh, we did number 6. Moving right along. Item number 7, discussion and vote, budget amendment, payroll. Lines 1 through 2 are to record the receipt of a special event reimbursement for the Firecracker Road Race. Lines 3 through 15 are to record the receipt of disability reimbursements for 3 DPW employees. I request your approval of the budget amendment, payroll, as previously submitted with the agenda. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Item number 8, discussion and vote, budget transfers, payroll. Lines 1 through 3 are related to the help desk upgrade I just discussed earlier. Lines 4 through 64 are to cover anticipated expenses in the DPW budget. Lines 65 through 71 are to cover anticipated expenses in the DPS budget, Department of Public Safety, Department of Public Works. Lines 72 through 78 are to cover anticipated expenses in the mayor's budget. I request your approval of the budget transfers, payroll, as previously submitted with the agenda. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you, Mayor. That completes my agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. On to Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item on the agenda is discussion and vote. Authorization for the mayor to sign an easement agreement with Gaddis and Son Enterprises, LLC, DBA Modern Antiquity. The DPW was contacted by the property owner of 7 St. Charles Place this past winter. Gaddis & Son has purchased the property last year and was in the process of rehabbing the house with plans to eventually sell it. They were experiencing water coming up through the basement floor of the split-level ranch, which occurred immediately after the rain and or snow melt. There was an existing storm pipe located alongside the north side of the house, which was installed in 1963. For an easement to the city was filed at the county clerk's office. The pipe was found to be corrugated metal, and it was thought to be leaking and causing the problem in the basement. After some investigation, the pipe was excavated by the owner contractor and found to be heavily rusted on the bottom. Accordingly, it was felt the pipe should be replaced and ideally relocated further from the foundation to prevent further problems and provide better access for maintenance and repair. The property owner agreed to have his site contractor install the new 12-inch HDPE storm pipe of 170 linear feet, which was provided by the city. The work was completed in mid-May. Being the pipe was relocated to the north side of the property, it requires establishing a new utility easement to the city. Therefore, I move to authorize the mayor to sign an easement agreement with Gaddis & Son Enterprises, LLC, DBA Modern Antiquity, for property located at 7 St. Charles Place, and I put that in the form of a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The matter passes.
Thank you. Second item on my agenda is a discussion and vote, and it's for approval to pay invoices to Tyco Simplex Grinnell. The Department of Public Works was contacted has a contract with Tyco Simplex Grinnell to provide testing and inspection of the fire sprinkler systems located in City Hall, the Weibel Avenue Ice Rink, the Vernon Ice Rink, and the Campfield Casino, and the indoor recreation facility. The invoices came about as a result of the work being done prior to a formal PO in place. The city's purchasing policy requires that a purchase order be issued to pay an amount over $14.99. This amount exceeds the $14.99. Therefore, I move to authorize the council to approve payment of two invoices in the amount of $3,045.46 and $1,674.84 to Tyco Simplex Grinnell for the testing and inspection of the fire sprinkler systems. Funding is in budget line number A303-1624-54720, A3567194-54720-3000, A3567184-54720-3000, A353-7114-527 or 540, A365-7174-5472-3000, and I put that in the form of a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The matter passes.
Third item on my agenda is a discussion and vote approval to pay invoices to HL Gauge Services Incorporated. The Department of Public Works has a contract with HL Gauge Sales to provide maintenance and repairs to our department's fleet vehicles. The invoice came about as a result of a city vehicle in need of towing and repairs prior to a formal PO in place. The city's purchasing policy requires that a purchase order be issued to pay an amount over $14.99. This amount exceeds the $14.99. Therefore, I move for council to approve payment to HL Gauge Sales Incorporated in the amount of $3,366.51 for the repairs, material, and parts to a city vehicle. Funding is in budget line number 8333-5014-54510, and I put that in form of a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
And the fourth item on my agenda is to set a public hearing to amend Chapter 201 of the City Code, street naming and numbering. And I think that's, what 5 minutes I think we had set for that.
We'll do that at the next meeting.
Next city council meeting, yeah.
No, sorry,
550.
550.
550 or 55?
You've got 555 for the
Capital.
budget. So
Okay.
we'll do that 550.
Great, thank you.
All right, just let me give a little background on what's going on with this. So if anybody decides to come to the next city council meeting and speak on it, they can have some information. A group of concerned residents expressed their frustration with the process of renumbering their townhomes as a result of new construction on Arrowhead Road. Members of this council will remember these residents explained their concerns at both the June 19th and the July 17 council meetings. The source of their frustration was Chapter 201 of the City Code, street naming and numbering. The code currently gives the city engineer complete authority over the process and the final decision on street naming and addressing and address numbering. This section of the code includes renumbering. The proposed change to the city codes will designate the Commissioner of Public Works as the responsible party for the street naming and numbering, and that the city engineer will facilitate the process under the direction of the Commissioner. By making this change to the city code, I will have the authority to return these concerned residents' addresses back to their original numbers of 26, 28, and 30 Arrowhead Road. In addition, the code requires a procedure for street naming and numbering and renumbering. This procedure has not been updated since 2006. If code changes are approved at a future meeting, I will be bringing to the council an updated procedure that will include pre-notification to the city council before an address change occurs. A new procedure will provide more opportunities for residents to weigh in when renumbering issues occur. Therefore, I'm requesting a public hearing to be set for 5 minutes at the next City Council meeting, August 21st, 2018, to amend Chapter 201 of the City Code, street naming and numbering.
Thank you. I think this is a great plan to get these folks to stay with their addresses. So I thank you for your work.
Yep.
Oh, I want to thank you too. You know, we want to make sure we're helping people out, so thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time to update this.
Who says you can't fight City Hall, right? You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So at the next City Council meeting, there'll be a public hearing. You're welcome to come up and speak and, you know, and voice your opinion. And yes. Okay. And thanks for being here tonight, too, by the way.
Yeah.
And with that concludes my agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. On to public safety.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item on my agenda is discussion and vote authorization of the mayor to sign a contract with Stilsing Electric for on-call service. This is a contract for professional services for traffic light repair services in the event that our traffic division is unable to complete such work. The funds for this are deposited in lines A314331454720. The contract will last for 1 year. Therefore, I move that the mayor be authorized to sign a professional services contract with Stilsing Electric for on-call traffic maintenance services. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The matter passes.
Thank you. The second item is a discussion and vote for the approval to pay invoices to BPI, which were issued during a lapse in the contract with BPI for HVAC work. Through a administrative and communications oversight, this contract was allowed to lapse for a period of 2 months beginning on June 19th. The bid from 2017 is being extended, and it already has been extended on the accounts agenda. So this is a motion to pay a back invoice, which is incurred during the lapse for the work by BPA on the HVA system in the police locker room. The invoice is in the amount of $2,649. Funding is in line A3143124-54720. Therefore, I move that the council authorize payment of an invoice to BPI Mechanical Services for HVAC work in the police locker room in the amount of $2,649. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
The third item on my agenda is a discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign a contract with BPI Mechanical Services for HVAC. Again, as I just discussed, this is an annual contract that we have for HVAC work with BPI Mechanical, and the contract is for a term of 4 years. Therefore, I move that the mayor be authorized to sign a professional services contract for HVAC services with BPI Mechanical Services. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Mayor, I would like to move that I be allowed to amend my agenda. I would like to make a report concerning a community forum that was held on this last Friday. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The matter passes.
Thank you. Mr. Brewer had mentioned earlier an incident, or actually a series of incidents, that occurred in the neighborhood of Doughton Avenue. This is down by Vanderbilt. If you just continue on, that's Doughton. A number of neighbors were concerned. A guest to one of the residents in that neighborhood had been causing difficulty to those neighbors. This guest drove his pickup truck, which, by the way, flies a Confederate flag on the back of the truck, and had on a number of occasions shouted out of the pickup truck slogans that would be considered to be obscenities, followed by racial epithets and hand motions, and they were directed particularly at a few of the residents of color in that neighborhood. In addition, this individual was driving at what was perceived to be a high rate of speed, despite the fact that there were children present in the neighborhood. I want to commend the neighbors. The neighbors got together. They publicized and called the community forum. I guess I want to say first thing they did actually is they called the police, and our police went out and examined the facts and actually spoke with this person who was committing these acts on 2 occasions. But the reality is, because there was no imminent threat of physical danger, because there was no damage to person or property, there was nothing that the police could do at that point. The neighbors got together, called the community forum, asked for a police representative, which we provided, asked me to come so that we could listen and so that they could work on possible remedies to this situation. I think this is exactly the type of community activity that we need in Saratoga Springs. I personally have no patience for the intolerance, for the disregard of the importance of diversity that this particular individual showed, and I have great respect for those neighbors and what they're doing. So they held their first meeting at the Nolan House of the New England Presbyterian Church this last Friday, and they have another meeting scheduled for later this month, also at the Nolan House. And as I say, this is something that I would commend neighbors to do, to get out and to help yourself and to try to come up with a community statement that supports our fellow neighbors.
Thank you. I just want to comment on, I was out of town for this forum, and I think it's all about community here in Saratoga Springs, and the more active we could be as a community to drive this type of individual out of our community. We don't tolerate that. We embrace diversity in our community, and I think as a council we do that. So thank you for going, thank you for attending, and I look forward to the next forum.
I want to thank you too. I also want to thank you for adding this to your agenda and bringing this to light and discussing it with the council and discussing it with the public, and completely supportive of you and whatever you need to do as Commissioner of Public Safety. And I agree, this council, this is not the kind of behavior that we want to see in our city.
Any other comments? Okay, are you complete there,
That's the end of my agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. On to Supervisors. Supervisor Veach.
Thank you, Mayor. First on my agenda is just a quick report on the National Association of Counties Conference that occurred a couple of weeks ago in July. I apologize I was not at the last meeting to report on it right after it occurred, but I was at a business trip in New Jersey, so I couldn't be here. So just quickly, I serve on the Community Economic Workforce Development Committee at the National Association of Counties. We had our meetings at our legislative session in Nashville, Tennessee. Our committee passed 10 resolutions ranging from various topics, from maintaining HUD vouchers to homeless veterans to expanding the affordable housing stock overall. We also push and maintain for the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act funding, and Saratoga County does receive funding for that. We run our one-stop workforce development center in Saratoga County using that funding. The major push from this committee is always to maintain community development block grant funding and other federal incentives to improve communities and economic development overall. And other things that I did at the conference, I attended a legislative update from the NACO staff on several county priorities facing the nation. Also attended the Immigration Task Force meeting. I attended the Arts and Culture Commission meeting where we received updates from the National Endowment from the Arts, as well as other national arts organizations. I attended a forum on how government and counties can better communicate when tragedies occur, such as school shootings or other of those types of events. Again, I attended with Supervisor Gaston as well as Supervisor Raymond from the town of Edinburgh. So it was great to network with my fellow supervisors at that as well. At the end of the conference, I was given the alert that I had been appointed by the NACO board president to the following committees: the Community Economic and Workforce Development Committee, the IT Standing Committee, International Economic Development Task Force, and the Arts and Culture Commission. So I look forward to serving again on those committees for the remainder of this year and for next year. Second on my agenda is just to make a quick announcement that the Saratoga Casino and Raceway Saratoga Casino Hotel Foundation it has their grant program is open, so we are receiving, and you can send in your grant applications for this year. It's a little bit earlier than in years past. I am the chairman of the committee this year, and Mayor Kelly, you're the secretary?
No.
Did we give you the secretary? Mayor Kelly also serves on the foundation with me, so in some capacity. The applications are open now. The application deadline is September 5th. So there's only a couple of weeks to get your application in. Our committee will make a decision by September 19th, and we will have a September 28th presentation of the grant awards at the Casino Hotel, which is something new that we started last year for this foundation. So I've been posting it wherever I can to try to get people aware that this is open. It is for not-for-profit agencies that are located and serve Saratoga County residents. The main goal of the foundation is to work against gambling addiction and those types of issues, but any arts, aging, youth, other kinds of organizations are eligible to apply. So get them in as soon as you can. And thirdly, just a quick report on the Economic Development Committee at Saratoga County. We had 3 items. We accepted snowmobile grant funding for next year. We named ourselves the project manager for a missing piece of the Champlain Canalway Trail construction in the town of Waterford, which is actually going to be part of that Hudson River Greenway that the governor has proposed from New York City to the Canadian border. And we approved Zim Smith Trail easements for a section in Half Moon that'll be located on the golf course at the fairways of Half Moon, where our trail will parallel the golf cart path. And we have a bunch of safety measures. It's going to be a very interesting section of trail with a net over top and some fencing to keep golf balls away from bikers and walkers. So I'm pretty fast on my bike, but I don't know if I'd be able to avoid a golf ball if it came heavy. So,
especially if Mayor Kelly.
well, yeah, she has pretty direct aim from what I hear.
Yes, I do.
So with that concludes my agenda, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Veach. Anything from Supervisor Gaston? Okay, that concludes our meeting, and we are adjourned.
Public Affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.